So we're in Chamberlain, South Dakota. And this is a city with a population under 3,000 people. So it's a really small city. But this is widely considered the second most dangerous city in South Dakota. So I thought I would do a little drive through it and just see what the second most dangerous city in this state looks like. Looks like we're coming up on the downtown here. This city ranks both second in violent crime and in property crime in the state, behind Rapid City, which is the worst, most dangerous city in the state. It's got kind of old school downtown. And this city has incidents of cancer that are of the highest in the entire United States, as well as their substance abuse in this town is extremely high. The majority of the crimes here are things like thefts, burglaries, and auto thefts, stuff like that. And that accounts for about 85% of all the crimes they have here. They don't have a lot of homicides. I mean, it's a small town. They don't have a lot of homicides, but they have one every couple of years or so, which gives them an extremely high murder rate because of the small population. Having just one homicide gives you a huge murder rate. And this city has, the violent crime rate is about 75% worse than the nation, which, if you watch my other videos, you know I consider anything between 100 and 200 to be just regular city crime levels. So it's a little less than what I would even consider regular city. So it's regular city crime levels, but even at a lower rate. There isn't much to it. I mean, we just did the whole Main Street in probably a minute. But as far as violent crimes go, they have kind of a lot of assaults for the number of people. Like at least 1 or 2 a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you only have, a few thousand people, that is a lot. They'll have like maybe 3 or 4 rapes a year. And I looked at the schools here just to see if the schools were an issue with the crime being as high as it is for how small it is. And they have, an elementary, middle, and a high school here. And I looked at them and they all ended up getting low great schools ratings. But it was mainly due to equity was the reason that lowered their scores. They were in I think if I remember right, they were in like the 60 percentile or 50 or 60 percentile, which isn't good as far as test scores go, but it's not horribly bad. But the equity rating, the equal opportunity doesn't achieve equal results, basically lowered them down to where they were getting like 3s and 4s, I think, on the great schools ratings. But it doesn't look like a bad town. And I don't know, it looked like there were a lot of hotels when I first pulled through. It looked like there were a lot of hotels, and it's possible that they get a lot of tourism here in the summer for some reason. Although they're kind of in the middle between both Sioux Falls and Rapid City. Let's just go up here. But it's not very big. I'm gonna just go down this road so we can check out what the houses look like here. Yeah, the houses don't look that bad either. And it's actually kind of a bustling city for the size of its population. But the houses don't look bad. I imagine the assaults, there's not a lot to do. If you've ever been to South Dakota, and this is like in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. If you've ever been to South Dakota, you know there's not a lot to do there. There's not a lot to do in North Dakota. So you have a lot of people that drink a lot. So I imagine a lot of the assaults that they have recorded are from bar fights and stuff like that. Whoa, dude. And it's not like, it's more stuff like that, I imagine, that are the assaults. Yeah, but the town looks nice. This is, so if you're looking at a state that as a state I think they have less than 1 million people. It's like 900,000 people in the whole state. And their murders in a year probably don't exceed 25. Maybe a little more than that for the whole state. I think Sioux Falls is in around the 10-ish range a year. Rapid City, I don't know how many they have, but as a state, they don't have very many. And so this is what a dangerous city in an extremely safe state looks like. The houses aren't even really run down. Yeah, the houses aren't even really run down. We'll go back. But there's an awful lot of hotels here, which tells me they get a lot of tourism. And the same thing with Rapid City. The tourists are probably, the amount of tourists that come there is probably the reason that they have as high a crime as they have. Because Rapid City isn't very big either. That's, I think it's around 80,000 people. So it's not a very big city. And this clearly is larger than what a city of 3,000 people look like. Just the span of it. It's a lot bigger than a city of 3,000 people. But there's a bunch of hotels. And I'll put some of the stats of the schools up on the screen, just so you can see like what the school ratings are, in case I remembered them incorrectly. But yeah, this doesn't, for the second most dangerous city in an entire state, this is something where anybody would move here and feel like it was really safe. You wouldn't move here and think it was unsafe at all. See, I'm driving by some girl I don't know. She's waving at me. That's how unsafe this place is. American flags. Because we're in South Dakota. Yep, that was it. A tour of the second most dangerous city in South Dakota. And I found it very pleasant.